When we think about the internet, we envision a collection of information that is interconnected, like a spider's web. According to this picture of the internet, no matter what part of the web a person occupies, one can gain access to any other part of the web because, like a spider's architecture, all the threads are connected. But while this makes for a powerful image of the internet, it isn't really accurate. The problem is the internet is less of an interconnected web and more of a series of boxes. Sure, if you have an internet connection, you can type in a web address and connect to any of these different boxes. But unfortunately, that isn't how most students do an information search. Instead, if you use a search engine like Google, Bing, or Yahoo to try to access these other boxes, you'll either be severely limited in the information available, or you'll have no access. Take the example of research databases. For doing quality, peer-reviewed research, this is one, if not the most important sources. But the vast majority of these databases, such as EBSCO, ProQuest, LexisNexis, are only accessible through an expensive subscription. And there are hundreds of these different academic databases that are run by a number of different companies. And because these databases are operated by different companies, they do not search each other. They don't even like each other because they are run by competing organizations. So the way each searches for information is different, and the resources each has access to, such as journals and books, are also different. So it's important that you search multiple databases to ensure an effective and thorough information search. For instance, let's say we were doing an information search using the database ProQuest. In this case, we're using the search terms uranium mining in Utah. So when we do a search with those terms in ProQuest, we get more than 4,000 search results. And the search results range from new rush for uranium, Colorado and Utah are ground zero for mining firms, Canadian uranium mining company buys entire town in southeastern Utah. Let's take that same search term and now use it in EBSCOhost, again a completely different database for doing academic research. And again, we get a completely different set of resources, in this case assessing a non-point source, chemical loading potential to watershed, uranium mining and milling industry in Utah. Now I'm going to go to Google Scholar. I haven't changed any of the search terms, and we're going to get, not surprisingly, a completely different set of search results. Again, the search results focusing on a different aspect of the same topic, which in our case is uranium mining in Utah. So Google Scholar is looking at uranium mining and lung cancer in Navajo men, the history of uranium mining, and the Navajo people. Confused? Well, now we turn to the library catalog. No matter how many searches you do on Google looking for a copy of The Catcher in the Rye at the Stewart Library, you're going to come up empty-handed. You're going to find a lot of web pages that have the words Stewart and library and Catcher in the Rye on them, but none of them are going to give you the information you need, which is, does the Stewart Library have a copy of The Catcher in the Rye? And if they do, what is the availability of that copy? To do that, you have to go to the library catalog itself. Type in the title of the book or author. In this case, we're going to go to title alphabetical, click search, and then you can see, oh, we do have a copy of The Catcher in the Rye, and this will tell us the availability. There's actually 2 copies, both are available. So the problem with search engines like Google or Bing or Yahoo is that they don't have the capability to do a search of a library catalog and look for a specific copy and the availability of that copy. So what does this mean to the student? It means every time you use Google or any other commercial search engine, you are only getting a fraction of the information resources available. On top of that, the resources that do show up on a search are often of a poor or suspect quality, such as Wikipedia, or partisan organizations or think tanks such as the Center for American Progress or the Heritage Foundation. The most thorough and trusted resources, such as peer-reviewed journal articles, do not even register with most of these types of searches. In other words, if you only used search engines like Google to do your research, it would sort of be like trying to find your car in a gigantic parking lot by deciding to only walk in a westerly direction. Search engines like Google are a good source for information, but they are not the best nor the most comprehensive. There is, however, reason to remain optimistic. You have someone who knows their way around this tricky terrain, and they are more than happy to help. Who's this person? Your librarian, who is available either in person or through a live chat or email.